Countries can be measured in terms of corruption using factors such as bribery of high-level governmental officials, government transparency, accountability, political instability, misuse of public funds, and the influence of illegal economies like drug trafficking and arms deals on the economy. Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index is one of the most common global metrics that ranks countries by their perceived levels of corruption, from 0, highly corrupt, to 100, very clean. The following are some of the most corrupt countries in Africa in 2025, based on reasons such as governance, rule of law, economic management, and transparency in the public sector. Burundi is ranked 10th in the list of most corrupt African countries in 2025. Authoritarian regime, lack of press freedom, political violence, and illegal diversion of state funds. There is a very repressive political atmosphere in Burundi, with a regime that suppresses all opposition and has plundered money from the public to serve personal interests. Due to this fact, there is abject poverty in a potentially resourceful country. Guinea is ranked 9th in the list of most corrupt African countries in 2025. Government mismanagement, lack of political will to fight corruption and resource exploitation, especially mining. There is widespread corruption in Guinea, especially in the mining sector, as well as government contracts. It is one of the poorest countries in the world, despite rich bauxite and other minerals. Chad is ranked 8th in the list of most corrupt African countries in 2025. Political repression, mismanagement of oil wealth, and lack of accountability in government institutions. There is also high visibility of corruption in Chad, especially in the oil sector, with badly distributed created wealth that enriches a small elite and keeps the majority of the population in poverty. The Central African Republic is ranked 7th in the list of most corrupt African countries in 2025. Armed conflict, absence of government presence outside the capital, misuse of foreign aid, and lack of judicial independence. With political instability and civil war, corrupt practices are widespread in government, especially in regard to the distribution of international aid and military activities. Democratic Republic of the Congo, or DRC. Pervasive conflict, resource exploitation, and generalized bribery due to poor governance. The extensive mineral resources in the DRC, including cobalt and gold, have nourished corruption just as much as conflict, while illegal mining and smuggling have helped push state-level corruption. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is ranked 6th in the list of most corrupt African countries in 2025. Libya, ranked 5th in the list of most corrupt African countries in 2025, due to civil conflict, lack of effective governance, looting of national assets, and warlord control of territories. Since the fall of Muammar Gaddafi, Libya has plunged into a civil war and political fragmentation into fiefdoms, environments where corruption blossoms. Large resources are frequently controlled either by militant groups or militias. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe to our channel and share it with others. Equatorial Guinea, ranked 4th in the list of most corrupt African countries in 2025, Equatorial Guinea's rule is authoritarian, with a few individuals owning the country's oil wealth, while government functions remain non-transparent. The leadership has been accused of embezzling much of the country's oil revenue, while the population remains extremely poor. It is a very centralized and opaque political system. Sudan. Sudan is ranked 3rd in the list of most corrupt African countries in 2025. There is political instability, mismanagement of oil revenues, military involvement in government, and judicial unfreedom. Sudan has been battling corruption for a long time, mainly in the military and governmental areas, and there has been a mismanagement of natural resources. South Sudan. There are civil wars, political squabbles, state resource misuse, and very weak institutional frameworks. The prevailing conflict, badly managed state resources, and absence of checks and balances within the young government in South Sudan rank it as the second most corrupt nation in Africa in 2025. Somalia, political instability, weak governance, lack of accountability, and control by insurgent groups such as Al-Shabaab. Somalia is ranked first in the list of most corrupt African countries in 2025 due to the lack of a strong centralized government and pervasive corruption across all facets of society, most notably within military and police sectors. Key factors in measuring corruption. Bribery. The demand for bribes by public officials, government agencies, and business in exchange for services or licenses. Political instability. Unstable governments are most likely to be corrupt since the struggle for power and weakness in institutions provide a playing field on which corruption flourishes. Resource mismanagement. Rich countries in natural resources, if there is poor governance, have high levels of corruption, since there is great ease for officials to exploit these resources for personal gain. For example, oil and mining. Transparency and accountability. Low levels of transparency in government actions, contracts and spending usually result in higher levels of corruption. Lack of accountability in public office results in misuse of power. Judicial independence. In countries where the judiciary is not independent or is highly influenced by political powers, corruption is more likely to go unchecked. Control of information. Countries that do not offer any freedom of the media, or where journalists and civil society have been suppressed, register higher levels of corruption since there is less scrutiny of the government. Military and police corruption. In many such countries, the military and police forces are deeply involved in corrupt activities, like extorting citizens or controlling illegal businesses. These rankings sometimes change over time, and even though efforts might be made against corruption, these countries have various challenges that make reform hard to achieve. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe to our channel and share it with others.